Hiya, and welcome back to Far Beyond the World, the game that teaches us that butchers apparently have good aim. Anyways, before we get started, there's something that, I feel like might need to be addressed, so I'm going to, bring it up real quick. Because of the, shit that was going on in the chat last night, I added a, little rule thing. Let me pull it up. Hello. Yeah, it's, really just this, just do what you will, but nothing overly vulgar, violent, or inappropriate. That's about it. I feel like it isn't really much. Anyways, enough of that. Let's just hop right in. So that's it. He's making me feel special and safe, but being incredibly intimate. Feeling me up and flirting just to call it defective. What the fuck? I want to shout at him in anger, but I managed to rein myself in. My mood suddenly shifted into an extreme for little to no reason. It's been happening a lot lately. I feel like I'm not entirely in control of my own emotions. I need to keep my wits about it. I don't want to come across as hysterical. Okay, so what happened was some people came in and, they were being, I don't know what the word is, be best to describe it, fuck. I can pull up the, VOD on YouTube, but I don't really want to do that. To give you a general idea, it was mostly, I don't know how to describe it. Just watch towards the end of the VOD on YouTube or here on Twitch, and you'll get a general idea. It's just adrenaline. I woke up here, in this fucking small cabin, forced to interact with that stranger. Stressful situation, dependence, and proximity. There's nothing more to it. I'm just being silly. I sigh in resignation and he closes the door behind him. I approach the cupboard where the water bowl rests and begin cleaning myself up, inch by inch. This doesn't seem very hygienic though, as I'm covered in sweat. Plain water won't do. I need some soap. I call out in annoyance, still rattled by our exchange. Does this look like a palace to you? He snorts cheekily, but there's no hint of malice in his words. I really stink. I need to wash properly. Use the ash. Ash? I scoff at the closed door, knowing full well he stands right behind them. This is the most absurd thing I've heard in a while. I look back at the hearth, where next to it stands a bucket filled with soot. I approach it with hands resting on my hips, looking at it dumbfounded. What am I supposed to do with it? Use a damp cloth to rub it into the skin, then wash it off. I sigh, rolling my eyes. This is like a shitty camping trip out of a nightmare. However, as skeptical as I was, the ash proves amazingly effective in removing the grime from my skin. In truth, it makes me feel almost as if I washed myself with a bar of soap, leaving my skin silky and smooth without a trace of sweaty oil. It even got rid of the musky smell, leaving behind a subtle, earthy aroma. Huh, you always learn. I take full advantage of privacy granted me by Rannoch and wash my entire body. I am reluctant at first to use the ash on my hair, but at the same time, nothing can be worse than how sticky and smelly they are. And again, to my surprise, they feel rather great after washing up. Once I am done, I dry myself off. Where do you have fresh towel thingies you tie around your, There should be some in the cupboard. I open the top drawer to find a bundle of loincloth there and reverse engineer the way it's supposed to be fashioned in my body. Once I'm satisfied with my handiwork, I approach the door and knock, letting him know it's okay to enter. I brush the loincloth idly, straightening it out with a chuckle. I feel like a Mowgli. Oh, I feel like Mowgli. Oh my god. Wait, what? Who the fuck is Mowgli? Good. Now if you excuse me, I need to get myself new water. Yeah, of course. I let him pass and return to the bedroom. He is still cold and distant and doesn't sit well with me, but I don't want to press it further. I closed the door behind, looking at the bed, which is now stripped of all the linen and blankets. Rannoch took them off and bundled together in the corner on the floor. I guess sleeping in that swamp was not really an option anymore. Once I'm allowed to show myself in public, I will help to do I will help do the wash up. It's the least I can do. I approached the window to look at the woods outside. It's a beautiful day and the singing birds lift up my spirit. However, I quickly frowned, taking a deep sniff of the forest air. It reminds me so much of him that I don't think I'll ever be able to go out camping again without getting sad or pining over that stupid wolf. I'm going to wash now. Don't enter. I hear him call out from the kitchen. Okay. I lean into the ledge, just watching the wind gently ruffle the woodland canopy. I really hope Verissa will sort out this mess today. I need to get out of this room. A shadow moves in the bushes and I immediately duck. I look up from underneath the ledge but cannot see anyone out there. Perhaps it was a wild animal? As bizarre as it sounds, what sort of animal would wander near a village full of sapient wolves? I finally straighten up, looking back at the woods in front of me only to freeze up. There's a small wolf child looking right at me. A gray pup. Fuck. I want to wave at him, but the kid bolts into the bushes exactly where I thought I saw a shadow move earlier. I can hear my pounding heart go into panic. What do I do? I start moving towards the doors to warn Rannoch, but I stop in my tracks as loud banging rings across the entire cottage. Rannoch! Father! Fuck. There's no way that kid ratted me out already. There was no time for that. What to do? I'm washing up. Just give me... Yeah, a little bit of a freak out happened. I think I was too late. I hear Rannoch's padding toward the... It did. I hear Rannoch's padding toward the bedroom and he quickly opens the door, almost kicking them out with me. Hide! He whispers, but all I can do is stare at his naked groin, looking directly at what he was poking me with just a few moments ago. Oh my god, ew. Now! He emphasizes the urgency through his soft growl and I finally snap out of my trance. I look around the room in panic. Where? Into the chest. He hastily throws the coffer open and pulls me towards it. Wait, what? Hiya. Okay, it was awful. I gaze inside with worry, seeing his padded armor alongside crumpled clothes and what looks like two sheathed swords. There's enough space for me to get in, but it would be a tight fit. But before I manage to raise my objections, he shoves me inside and slams the cover shut. I impale myself on a scabbard stuck in an upright position. The dull tip sinks right into my left butt cheek, causing me to cringe in pain. God, I want to scream, covering my mouth with both hands. It feels as if my muscles got split in half, but I maintain an iron grip on my vocals. Hiya. I stabilize my breath, pushing the sheath away with annoyance and listening to the conversation in the other room. Open the damned door! Alright, let me get my pants on. Why aren't you fully dressed? It's almost noon. I overslept. It's unlike you. You missed the morning patrol. I had to send the pack without you. I'm stuck in an onward squat, pushing my chest deep into my knees. I cannot sit down as it would send another wave of pain from my still throbbing butt. My legs go numb and I wonder how long I'll be able to stay cooped up like this. I'm sorry, I had a lot on my mind. So I've heard. People say you've been meeting up with Volgor and Verissa quite often during my absence. Care to enlighten me what it is that you three had to discuss in secret? Nothing. Tano seems to believe you're sneaking food into your home. I hear the bedroom door open as wolves walk in for a moment. I consider trying to catch a glimpse through the small crack, but I know better. Fuck, I forgot about the meat Vol brought me the other night. It's still on the dresser, completely in the open. It seems he wasn't wrong. Of course the old male noticed it. Fuck, I'm so stupid. Smells like a wet dog in here. It almost smells like one It also smells like one inside of the chest. Most of the clothes here reek of Rannoch's sweat. He must be treating it like his laundry basket, his musk virtually enveloping me. I hold my breath as the steps approach where the clump of bedding lays on the floor. Were you ill? Is that the reason you did not go hunting with me? You can tell me, son. I might be your chief, but I am first and foremost your father. I was feeling a bit under the weather, but Versa took care of it. As for the food, if that's the case, it doesn't matter. The older wolf interrupts him. What matters is that you're fine now. I can hear the wolves embrace, the father patting his son on the back, drawing an amused grunt from the younger male. It's almost a tender moment. The chief might be stern, but seems genuinely concerned with the son. Why have you dismissed Trist? Did he offend you somehow, or was he simply too lazy? No, none of that. It's just a small cabin, and having him around all the time was getting a bit tiresome. God, get on with it. My legs begin to cramp up. You could always move back into the villa. I never understood why you insisted on building this hovel. Wait, did Rannoch build his house? How much more impressive can this guy get? I'm of age. Moving out was expected of me. And I don't want to give Tano any more reasons to let me worry about Tano. That name again. Right, get ready. Verissa called a meeting. Did she? Rannoch voices my own surprise. Indeed, did she? Funny she forgot to let us know about it. Come to think of it, she didn't even check on us in the morning. I was burning up the entire night. What if I was in no condition to be paraded around? Finish up washing and join us near the fire. I stay there a few more moments to make sure the older male finally left. Once I hear the outer door close, I burst out of the chest like a jack-in-the-box, grabbing my butt and trying to massage the sore spot. The gray wolf enters, relief clearly painted across his muzzle. That was close. Too close. Yeah, quite. I try to get out of the chest as Rannoch approaches me to lend his paw. I'm glad to see his gentlemanly side again, hoping the abruptness and coldness he showed earlier were just that. A show. Good thing we slept together. You're pretty much covered in my scent. Otherwise, he'd sniff you out. I washed, remember? If I'm covered in your scent, it's because you forced me to hide with your dirty laundry. He looks at me with a bemused expression as I keep kneading my butt cheek. What is it? You kinda impaled me on your sheath. The wolf snorts, barely containing a laugh. What? I wasn't anywhere near your rear. He grins teasingly, but I didn't quite get the joke. Oh, God! Oh, God!
He's talking about his wiener.
Oh, God! Oh, God! He grins teasingly, but I didn't quite get the joke. I know that. I meant your sword thingy. You pushed me right onto it. I point to the scabbard inside the chest. Oh! Why? What did you think I meant? I thought you were talking about a different kind of... Hang on, I'm gonna check something real quick.
Shut the fuck up. You're
Please, Rannoch, stop talking about your dick. He winks in a furrow my brow. I don't get it. Never mind. He shakes his head with a hearty laughter. Although I'm oblivious as to what he means, I get that there is some sort of innuendo here. No shit. No shit. I'm glad though. I prefer him taking the morning incident in strides, then getting all serious again and talk about being broken. Who's Trist? I asked absentmindedly as the name caught my attention. He used to be my attendant. As in, what, a servant? Kinda. No wonder you got rid of him. This house is filthy. I'm sorry. I didn't want him to do any cleaning, and the reason why I had to get rid of him is standing before me. He smirks at me challengingly, and I cringe at the revelation. I don't feel good knowing someone lost a job because of me. Oh, sorry. Don't be. I couldn't have taken any chances. He dismisses me with a paw. Right, so what do we do now? I guess you need to stay here while I go to the meeting. Have to see what Verissa came up with. I see him frown, eyes clearly filled with worry. It's a bit troubling we didn't hear from her since yesterday. Yeah, I thought about that as well. A moment of silence fills the room, as neither of us knows what to say. Both of us buried deep into our own thoughts when a loud banging shakes the cottage again. His father's back, but this time his voice is much, much different. Rannoch! The old male practically roars. Fuck, the pup! I've completely forgotten about him!
Hey, knock it off! There's a kid back there!
I'm in danger!
We don't even get a chance to move when the bedroom doors fly wide open, with the chief charging in with a murderous gaze in his eyes. He immediately locks on me, and within a blink of an eye, I am already pinned to the wall, large clawed paw clenching around my throat. Father! I wince my eyes shut as a massive dark gray muzzle twists in a vicious snarl just an inch from me. What in the name of the moon have you done? The older man growls, causing me to shiver. Father, let me explain. Rannoch tries to intervene, but his father swats him away with a single paw, almost as if the gray wolf weighed nothing. What possible explanation can you have for sheltering this mongrel? Rannoch tries to get up, but the other two wolves rush into the room, pinning him down to the floor. The gray wolf is forced to kneel there, his arms twisted backwards by the very rough guards. He's looking at us with desperation. How dare you make him cry? Rannoch's, like, crying right now. How dare you? How fucking dare you? That's it. Let's go. Let's go. Let's take this outside. Let's go. I'm ready when you are. Let's go. The chief lifts me off the floor, and I begin to feel the neck-breaking weight of my entire lower body. I gasp loudly, struggling for air. Father, stop! Rannoch's voice becomes more frantic, mixed between yelling and growling. Get that idiot out of here! I'll deal with this intruder. No! I can see the wolves lift Rannoch up. That's when he shoulder charges one of them into the cupboard, pulling himself free of their hold. Within a second, he closes the distance between us, but as he's about to wrestle with his father, a large shadow throws him to the ground. It was the other guard who now pins Rannoch and pushes his muzzle into the floor. The room fills with sounds of struggle, growls, and huffs, sending me into a panic. My mind stirs, however, as I hear a metallic clink of a sword. I can see the chief point his blade right beneath my ribcage. No! You're making a mistake! I'm fixing one. I feel the cold metal make contact with my skin, and the tip sinks slightly into my flesh, drawing the first drop of blood. I know she said not to say anything, but fuck the plan. It already went to shit. Sanctuary! I struggle to speak through my again crushed vocal cords. What? Law of Sylvan, I manage, when suddenly the stranglehold on my throat releases completely. I drop to my knees, coughing and rasping for air, while the chief stumbles back in a mix of confusion and terror. He looks as if he's seen a ghost, a reaction so familiar at this point that it does not faze me. I just try to catch my breath, locking gaze with Rannoch, who's still being pinned to the wooden floor. The male guards above him are rougher than they need to be, as Wolf stops struggling the moment I was released. How's it speaking our language? Verissa, I rasp, trying to give Rannoch a cue to save whatever we can from our little secret. He only knows those few words. Verissa taught him in case he was found prematurely. The older wolf regards his son with utter horror in his eyes. Verissa knows about this? It wasn't me she was treating. It was a human. He is wounded. Have you both lost your damned minds? The chief looks at the bandages around my side, and it makes me aware that something's not quite right. I feel warmth there, and as I touch the dressing, it's wet. I lift my hand up to my face and see my entire palm painted red. His wound opened up! The Grey Wolf pleads, but the chief looks at me with disdain, not a hint of empathy in his eyes. I hear rushed padding from the other room, and I sigh in relief as Verissa runs in. Chief! The older wolf flinches at her voice and turns to face her, his expression showing clear contempt. I guess we kind of threw her under the bus with me talking. Care to explain? I wanted to tell you during the meeting. I think you should have told me the moment I came back from the hunt. Put my son in the stockades. He nods to the guards who force Rannoch back onto his feet while the chief points at me. And I want that thing executed for trespassing and speaking our tongue. No! No! The chief stumbles back in surprise at their unison and determination. As your shaman, it is my duty to advise against this. It is our law. This human is here because the spirits willed it, and Rannoch only obeyed. The older male scoffs. What are you talking about? Please, stay your paw for just a moment. She utters softly, slowly circling around the chief and moving herself closer to me with each step. Let us hold the meeting as intended and allow me to explain everything. Then, you are free to decide whether to execute the human or imprison Rannoch. If you refuse, however, you'll have to kill me first, as I promised the human's safety. She finally stands in front of me, shielding me with her own body. And I intend to keep it. The older male huffs angrily, glaring at me and then his son. What are you playing at? You think you have some sort of upper hand here just because you're a shaman? You're not even that. A novice at best that I could replace without a second thought. The female is oddly calm, allowing a moment of silence to fall over the room. Fine, but it won't budge, and if anyone tries to touch the human, you'll have to find a new shaman all the same. Because I'll die before I let anything happen to him. She stands defiantly in front of me, and I can see Rannoch's eyes gloss at her determination. The Grey Wolf resounds my own ingratitude. Everyone knows the human's here. Hal saw him. Rannoch compromised the safety of our people, and now you're betraying them by siding with that thing? We did what the spirits willed us to. The female protests sternly. She approaches the chief slowly, stopping just inches from him. She leans into his ear, whispering quietly enough so that the other wolves won't hear. I know you don't want to throw away Rannoch's future. I can fix this. The tribe won't like this. The tribe has to obey the will of our ancestors. Verissa pulls back, raising her voice so that all could hear her. Besides, the human is untouchable. Yesterday, when I tended to his wounds, I took a piece of cloth, dipped in his blood, and burned it at the altar. He is now under the protection of our ancestors. You did what? The older male snarls in complete outrage, his clawed paws almost itching to grab her, but she doesn't even flinch. Whatever Verissa did seems drastic, as the chief barely contains his rage. She did mention that she needed to do two things to get this sorted. Stabbing was one. I guess this altar thing was the other. I did everything according to the guidance I received. As long as the human remains within the village, any wolf who does him harm renounces his tribe and our ancestors. The old wolf looks at her with a mixture of anger and disbelief, while the guards gaze between each other and me. The chief finally takes a deep breath and sheaths his sword. By Aluna, I hope you know what you're doing. Release him. The older male waves his paw at the guards, who let Rannoch go. I can swear he was about to rush towards me, but composes himself at the last second, realizing all eyes are on him. His wound. Verissa turns to regard me and approaches slowly. She kneels next to me, touching the bloody dressing and pressing down on it slightly. I wince as it stings a little, but there is not much pain. She rubs her fingers covered in my blood, bringing them to her nose and taking idle sniffs. It's fine. It'll clog itself in a moment. She states, returning to face the others and rubbing her paw into a bundled linen on the floor. I do hope she's right, as the bandages got quite red. One of you has to stay here and keep an eye on that mongrel. Don't let him out of sight. If he tries anything, do what you must short of killing him. Verissa stops, looking back at the guards. No, the human is not to be harmed under any circumstance. Unless either of you don't mind being banished. The guards look frantically between each other and then gaze at the chief, who sighs in annoyance. Fine. I'm sure you can overpower that wolf without any serious injury if it comes to that. He'll be good. He's very cooperative. The chief glances at me and then gives Rannoch a stern look. More than can be said about you. With that, they leave the room. Hold on, let me just... Let me just...
Fuck you! 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 Fuck you!
Rannoch stops at the doorway, looking back at me with a sorrowful gaze. I'm sure he didn't imagine this day to take such a turn, but here we are. I almost feel angry at myself that I didn't make better use of the time we had together. I can't tell myself I couldn't have known because I did know. Vol did warn me the very first night, I just didn't listen. I tried to give him a reassuring smile, to give him strength to go through whatever is going to happen next. He returns the gesture just before he leaves the room. The two guards play some form of rock, paper, scissors to decide who's going to be saddled with me for the rest of the day. Time to make it our personal mission to piss this guy off. The loser grunts in annoyance and it almost makes me chuckle. This is so familiar behavior. The other male leaves in a hurry while the one forced to watch over me stands in the doorway taking a dignified pose. He's regarding me from time to time with both suspicion and disgust. I'll try to at least kill time talking to him, however. We still have to play the game of me being ignorant. I just have to resign myself to that corner, sitting beneath the window ledge and observing how the shadows in the room grow longer and darker. Knowing my fate is being decided and some meaning a stone throw away unsettles me, and I feel a knot forming inside my stomach. Time stretches mercilessly, and it almost feels as if I'm sitting here for days. The guard rarely moves, just standing there and looking at me every now and then. He seems both curious and troubled by me, and it's the only form of entertainment I have. Each time I lock gaze with him for much longer than he deems appropriate, he issues a warning growl. It's not hard to understand it as, "Stop staring at me." Eventually, the yellow light gives way to orange, and finally blue tints. Day turns into night, and the meeting seems to still be ongoing, which doesn't fill me with confidence. If Farissa had this truly figured out, the meeting wouldn't drag on like this, would it? Not knowing my fate is torture. Are these my last moments before execution? Or if the female manages to save my life, will I get cast out instead? Whatever the outcome, the only thing that keeps worrying me is if I get to see Rannoch again. I want to be with him alone just one more time, so we can talk. I want to fix whatever mistake we made this morning. He's not defective, not to me, and I want him to know that. I might be confused about what is going on here, but I don't want him to believe that being himself is in any way wrong. That little exchange triggered something inside of me. I felt like being in his shoes before. I did allow others to dictate what I can and cannot be. That's a feeling even my memory loss cannot erase. He's right. My situation is a clean slate, and I don't want to feel like that ever again. I like guys, and I will not be ashamed of it. I will not allow anyone to make me feel defective. And I will do everything in my power to ensure he does not allow himself to be boxed in either. I'm not having any illusions that he's into me. What happened in the morning was just a fluke. I'm a scrawny little kid. What could possibly a handsome wolf like him want with me? Wait, handsome? Oh no. I don't even know why I think about this. Is it possible I started having feelings towards him? Stockholm Syndrome. This is absurd. It's just in my head. Am I in a stressful situation? I am in a stressful situation, and you don't fall for a guy in a stressful situation. Especially when you just met. Again, Stockholm Syndrome. That's like the biggest cliche there is. And yet, am I into him? Which one? Okay. I think I might be. I mutter under my breath, drawing attention of the guard. Shit. He's not surprised though. At least not as every other wolf was so far. He simply shrugs and returns to look at the wall in front of him. I guess he didn't hear me. Good. Ugh, this is so messed up. I sigh, simply slumping into the wall and gazing at the ceiling in resignation. 100 years later, I finally doze off. Gentle patting on my shoulder stirs me from my sleep, and I can hear a muffled voice break through the veil. Salin. Huh? What? I open my eyes sleepily, blinking to adjust my vision. The gray wolf squats in front of me with a gentle smile. Without thinking, I throw myself into his arms, tipping him over. He lands on his butt with an amused oof, embracing me tightly. I can sense that my reaction surprised him, but the swoosh of his tail assures me I did it in a good way. I rub my head against his neck fluff, just taking in his scent. I didn't think it was possible to miss someone so much. Suddenly, I remember the other wolf keeping watch over me, pulling away from Rannoch in order to avoid making a scene. As Wolf readjusts himself, I notice that we're in fact alone. Where's the guard? He's gone now. The wolf smiles at me. Hope you were treated okay. He might as well have been part of the furniture, didn't budge or make a sound. Why are you on the floor? Should have used the bed. Rannoch raises one brow, nodding towards it. Honestly, I was afraid to startle the guy. He was super tense. Ha! For someone so tiny, you are incredibly ballsy when dealing with wolves. I'm Salin, alright. I laugh off his tease. The nickname really grew on me. Since I see you instead of an executioner, I take it we're good? Yes. He nods with clear relief. Everything's fine. You're released into my custody. What does that mean? That... He cuts off, slightly troubled. He's clearly looking for the right words. That I'm responsible for you. So, pretty much what we wanted, no? I inquire as the pause made me slightly worried. Yeah, pretty much. He chuckles, extending a paw to help me up. As I stand up, my eyes are immediately hit by a harsh beam of light. Damn, it's morning already? I squint. Yeah. You talked throughout the day and night? It was a hard sell. He admits with a bit of embarrassment. I told you my people are rather set in their ways. Also, Verissa is questioned a lot due to her age. Many of the elders don't trust her ability to speak with the spirits. And then you have the elders. They like to talk. So that's why it's called the Howl. I propose cheekily, and he suppresses an idle laughter. I swear, my father was getting pretty fed up halfway through the meeting. No wonder. If it started at noon, you pretty much spent 18 hours arguing. Yeah, and it got pretty heated. My father's position... He pauses, as if not sure whether he should elaborate or not, forcing me to pry. The wolf sighs, reaching up towards his shoulder pad. It's a long story, and for another time. Just know there are things the elders like to bring up against him. I watch uncomfortably as he struggles to undo a latch beneath the metal plate. Oh, God, I swear to God, I need to adjust this. I need to adjust my mic real quick. I watch uncomfortably as he struggles to undo a latch beneath the metal plate. You need help with that? Looks rather fiddly. I ask needlessly, as I find my hands already reaching out towards his paws. You don't have to... He pauses as my small fingers already sunk beneath the plate. With a click, the piece of armor is detached, and the wolf places it carefully on the ground. Thank you. I watch as he removes his cloak along with the leather straps which secured the shoulder pad in place and the belt on his back. He rests his massive longsword against the wall, next to the chest. Only now I have a good look at that thing. It's nearly as tall as a candelabra. It must weigh a freaking ton, which explains his massive arms. I bet he could easily split me in half. My eyes wander around the room as a blush creeps onto my face, especially as he undoes his belt, allowing it to clank to the floor with a loud thud. No biscuit? I ain't risking it. Do you want me to put it all away? The chest, perhaps? Another flop draws my gaze back to him as he dropped his padded armor carelessly onto the heap. Aren't you settling into your role? He laughs teasingly. Let's just leave it here. I'll have to put it back on soon enough. I only have a few hours to rest. The wolf walks towards the bed and sits down, reclining back onto his elbows. I follow and take the spot next to him. It's a beautiful morning, and although the wolf's expression invites me to admire the light spectacle outside, my eyes wander to the sun rays gently kissing his sculpted body. It almost seems that the light redefines his musculature, making it even more profound than before. Even more pronounced than before. I shake my head slightly, trying to regain my train of thought. What is wrong with me? So, we're dealing with a distrusted shaman and a questioned leader? I think out loud, reflecting on our conversation as it did not exactly put me at ease. Seems like this whole place is pretty unstable. You have no idea. Rannoch laughs, smiling at me with amusement. That's not a good thing. If anything, it sounds like my situation isn't exactly sorted, and it's clear Rannoch realizes that. He sighs and nods in defeat. I know. But one thing at a time, friend. He pats my shoulder reassuringly. Friend. I'm both glad and distraught to hear him call me that. I treasure his friendship, and I'm glad our previous mishap didn't hamper it, but... is it really all he wants me to be? I sigh, not even sure where my thoughts are taking me. We sit like this for a moment in silence. I can clearly see he doesn't know what else to say while I'm deep in my thoughts. I desperately try to escape my infatuation. There are more important things at hand. Hold on, my dog's doing something weird. What are you doing? What are you... Oh. If Arissa's and Chief's positions are indeed insecure, I might prove to be their undoing. For whatever reason, I feel like I have unwittingly become a pawn in a game I won't even get to play, but I'm getting ahead of myself. With the Chief's apparent fury and now the entire tribe's attention on me, I just need to focus on surviving until the next day. I slump a little, realizing that this whole mess unfolded the way it did due to my own carelessness. I'm sorry I allowed myself to be seen like that. Heh, I did ask you to stay out of sight. He nods with a slight smile. You did. And I fucked up. It's just, there was so much going on. Relax. It wasn't all your fault. That little shit should have stayed away. He always sneaks around my house, but I thought he learned his lessons after last time I caught him outside my windows. I could hear stifled growl brewing deep inside his throat, which makes me wonder about the pup. Rannoch doesn't seem to like him very much. Who is he? He's my younger brother. Well, half-brother anyway. The wolf rolls his eyes in annoyance. Ever since I moved up from the villa, he snoops around. He probably just misses you. I propose, as I find it rather harsh towards the child even if he did put our lives in danger. Rannoch simply closes his eyes and releases an exasperated sigh. That's neither here nor there. I'm not his damned den mother. I assume that's some sort of a village nanny. I can see he's clearly annoyed, so I allow him a moment to calm down before I continue my questioning. What's his name? He doesn't have one. He hasn't earned it yet. Well, you have to call him something. I chuckle. Yeah, a pup call of sorts. It's like a nickname usually derived from the pup's behavior or physique. His is Howl. As you can guess, he wouldn't have shut up when he was born. Although if you ask me, he should have been called Snitch. Don't be like that, he's just a kid. I smile awkwardly. A very nosy and annoying one, that's for sure. Seeing him so grumpy and serious almost demands a tease. As if you were a well-behaved pup. I laugh him off. With your tendency to seek out trouble, I'd say it runs in the family. I wonder what's your pup name? I chuckle and I can see his eyes widen in shock. But only for a moment as he quickly narrows his eyes, grumbling. Well, you can continue to wonder. Come on, are you seriously not going to tell me? It's a grave insult to use a pup call towards an adult wolf. He states in a serious tone. Once we stake a claim to our name tree, our pup name is meant to be forgotten. Seriously, we people need to learn to relax a bit. All this posturing is a little over the top. I laugh him off, but his expression doesn't soften, and I think I found another sore spot. It's not posturing. If you pup name a wolf, he is honor bound to challenge you to a duel to prove his mantle. You people duel over misnaming? It's not a trifle, it's deadly serious. He scolds me. Yeah, so far with your people, everything is. By using a pup name, you're basically questioning a wolf's worth. The only way to restore honor is through combat, often to the death. Yeah, why am I surprised? If you kill over a name tree, why would misnaming be any different? The wolf issues a long huff, giving me a mixture of a hurt and patronizing gaze. Look, Salen, I understand you're a human, and I don't know anything about your culture, but I'm sure I'd find half of your practices objectionable to say the least. He states defiantly, causing me to blink. We have lots to learn from each other, I can see that. But for any learning to take place, there has to be a willingness to listen and to understand one another. I want to learn from you, but so far all you do is mock our customs and give me flack over things I can't control. I'm actually curious, what is his pup name? Here we go. I think this is the site that I need. No. Damn. Well, hopefully we find out in the future what his pup name is. Curious. He finishes chastising me, and I slightly sink into my shoulders. Although harsh, his words ring true. I've been overly cynical, if not outright critical of his way of life. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. I admit in defeat. All of this is just extremely confusing to me, but none of it is meant as an insult. I guess it's just my defense mechanism. I don't understand what's going on, and I don't remember anything beyond what's happening here and now. So instead of panicking, I try to pick apart everything that's new. He listens carefully to my explanation, his expression shifting a little. I'm really sorry. I'm just trying to fill up this utter void in my head, so I tend to overthink everything you tell me. You seem quite functional for someone who claims to have an empty mind. He mutters, almost as if he began questioning my memory loss. It's all just an act. In reality, I'm in the same boat as you are. I don't know any more about the human culture than you do. He narrows his eyes, but this time more worried than annoyed. I don't remember how humans do things, but somehow I feel that even if you were to tell me, it would still be just as alien as the rest of this is. What are you saying? You weren't living among your kin? In truth, I want to tell him I feel as if I'm from another world entirely, but this would just be emitting lunacy. I sigh in resignation. Yeah, I guess so. So I suppose you lived somewhere among the Tiguri, then, which would explain your superiority complex. I give him an annoyed look. Your guess is as good as mine. I can see his eyes drill into me as if expecting me to elaborate. I don't know what to tell you, Rannoch. I've got nothing. I shrug and he scoffs in amusement. Well, not exactly. You still have your compass. He bumps into me with his shoulder, forcing a reluctant laugh out of me. If you say so. I shrug, defeated, and the wolf looks towards the window. It's clear that my memory loss bothers him almost as much as it bothers me. It does kind of put a hole in his plan. Can't take me home if there's no home to speak of. Eventually, after a moment of silence, he looks back at me with his usual determination. Heh, there's always tomorrow. We'll get your memories, Salen. He grins, ruffling my hair, and I smile back at him for a moment before I pause. Hold on. Suddenly it hits me. All this time he's been using my characteristic as a nickname. I can see his grin widen at my realization. You dick, you pup-named me! Took you a while. He winks cheekily and I snicker. All this talk about how insulting this is while you've been pup-calling me all along. You're such a hypocrite! As the kettle said to the pot. He snorts and I decide to teasingly punch his shoulder, although putting some actual force behind it. My knuckles buckle as if I hit a stone wall and I immediately have to cradle my hand in slight discomfort, causing him to laugh. Also not really a hypocrite, if you are as helpless as a pup. He laughs off my pathetic attempt at roughhousing and in turn punches me right in the chest. Just like I did, He placed a little bit of force behind his tease, and I winced in pain, rubbing my now aching breast. See? A total pup. He snorts while I kept rubbing the sore spot with feigned annoyance when I notice his eyes start to my side with a worried expression. It's almost as if he forgot himself and is now worried that I might have overdone the punch. Such a good wolf. How's your wound? The wolf asks, his voice lined with concern. I was worried sick. I couldn't think straight about anything else. Honestly, I think it's fine. I look down at the bloodied bandage. Although it looks bad, the blood has dried off and the wound beneath doesn't even hurt anymore. I'm glad no one took a look at it, because Vol might have been too careful. Are you complaining that he didn't stab you hard enough? He laughs nervously. Well, I never been stabbed before, but this thing feels too good for a grave wound. I kind of forget it's even there most of the time. I, for one, am glad. I would like to put this whole mess behind us. I nod in agreement and we both gaze idly out the window. He leans back, tensing out his exposed belly, and I have to fight the urge to just pet it. I don't understand my bizarre attraction to him. It feels very sudden. He's charming, alright, but it's not typical for me to get lost in a guy like this. Or is it? After all, I did lose all my memory, but I'd like to think I wasn't this easy to wrap around a finger. Still, something about this wolf is different. He's quirky, a bit forward and too full of himself, but at the same time extremely vulnerable. I think he let himself be boxed up his entire life, and our little mishap proved it best. I can feel a blush slowly creeping onto my face, as I'm reminded what I actually wanted to talk about. He's not alone, even if we're just friends. I want him to know I understand what he's going through. Rannoch. He looks at me with a soft smile. I wanted to tell you something, but I don't know how. You seem to have a pretty good grasp of our language. He smirks. It's not that. I struggle. This is much harder to do than I thought. He just looks at me with a smirk, raising one brow in a teasing expression. Damn, he knows how to disarm me. It's about yesterday morning. I finally spill it out, looking away at the window. Oh. I would rather not talk about that. His voice takes on a more serious tone. I swallow heavily, not wanting to leave the matter unresolved. I just want you to know that I don't... Oh, I sigh. I don't mind it, okay? And if you do, I hope you won't start calling me defective. I cringe, really unsettled by the term. I would never. Good, because I don't think it's right. I don't think anyone should feel wrong or broken just because they like guys. I finished, not even looking at him. I can't believe I just said it, but I am glad I did. It had to be said. I hear the wolf readjust himself as he turns to face me with an expression full of disbelief. Wait a moment, you like males? Fuck. It is hard to force myself to face him, but I have to look into his eyes, otherwise what was the point in bringing all of this up? To my surprise, his expression is kind and a little bit expectant. I could almost see a light lit up above his head. I hope we can still be friends. Of course we can. He scoffs at me, as if it was never a question, and I'm glad to hear it. But... Uh-oh. I'm not like you. He grimaces with embarrassment. I really do like females. Oh. I freeze, looking out the window. In truth, I just want to jump out of it. Besides, you're rather small and... wrong species, no? He cuts me off with a chuckle, almost as if trying to save me embarrassment. I laugh nervously. Yeah. Don't worry about it. It doesn't change anything between us. Of course it does. I feel like I can't be the only person thinking this. I just made a fool out of myself. Fuck. I guess I've seen too many stories to think this would work out the way I thought it would. But I guess it's for the best. I really don't feel like I'm in control of my emotions, and I'm shifting from one extreme to another. I'm so dumb. Why would I even think of romance in my current situation? You okay? You've gone pretty quiet. I hope you're not taking my rejection too hard. He winks at me in a clear jest. Rejection? You should be so lucky. Who said I'm interested? I punch his arm teasingly, nervous laughter escaping my lips. Whatever you say, Tiny. He chuckles and plops down on the bed. Now, I don't know about you, but I really need to get some sleep. He makes an exaggerated yawn, his tail coiling up inside his maw like a snake. Would you close the shutters? Sure. I walk towards the window, allowing the wolf to splay himself out when I suddenly stop in my tracks. Hold up. Network issues. Wait. You have fucking shutters and you're only mentioning them now? Yeah, why? This whole mess could have been avoided if they were closed to begin with. Maybe, but aside from looking suspicious to others, being locked in a dark room would freak you out even more than this whole thing already did. He shrugs through another protracted yawn. I chuckle, looking at his open jaw, his tongue dangling out in such a goofy fashion. He finally closes his muzzle with a loud smack. You're on the verge of heart attack anyway. I shake my head with a sigh, deciding to drop the issue. Carefully, I relocate the shutter on the floor. Once the ledge is cleared, I open up the window and for the first time, lean out of it freely. The fresh air feels wonderful on my skin, and this little taste of the outside world only makes me want more. The forest is alive and buzzing with activity. I can hear the gentle rustle of leaves accompanied by the chirping of birds. There's even a pair of squirrels chasing each other across the canopy, jumping from one branch to another. Maybe we get to go out sometime later? I would really love that. A hike through these woods seems like a dream come true. This place looks like it's from a fairy tale. But for the time being, I'll just follow Rannoch's lead. I've put us in danger one time too many on a silly whim. I decide to simply grab the shutters and close them, allowing the dark to claim the bedroom. Since I'm no longer secret, I leave the window open, allowing much-needed forest air to flow freely into the otherwise dank room. Sorry I left you without any provisions. You must be... He interrupts, issuing another prolonged yawn. Starved. Brought you some food. It's in the kitchen. The wolf mutters and I smile, seeing he's pretty much half asleep already. Don't you worry about me. You just rest. I go to the kitchen to find a linen bundle on the table. I sit down, slowly unwrapping it to reveal thick slices of roasted ham and some forest fruits. The ham smells wonderfully, causing my mouth to water with its smoky aroma. But it's the berries that pique my attention. They're glistening with morning dew and look extremely ripe. I select one large blackberry and eat it. It immediately bursts with sweet tang at the slightest touch of my tongue, bringing a smile to my face. They're freshly picked and carefully selected, which must have taken some time considering the season. Why is he trying so hard if he's into girls? I sigh, shaking my head. I'm reading into things again, while I should focus on more important matters. I'm curious how exactly the meeting went. Rannoch's description doesn't fill me with confidence. I can understand Verissa being questioned a lot, after all. I myself kind of felt she was too young to be a shaman, and I don't even know what shamans do. But the chief? He seems like one tough guy. Why would he be questioned? It almost sounded as if the elders had a hook on him, which in and of itself sounds rather scary. I might not have a full picture to truly understand a power dynamic in this tribe, but it seems the elders have a large sway. At this point, I'm not sure if it's my place to wonder such things, or if it's in my prerogative to know the details due to the situation we're all in. I simply pick up a piece of ham and bite in. It's luscious and the oaky aroma just makes me feel warm inside. This food, although very simple, really hits the spot. I don't know why, but I have a feeling I was used to much different types of meals. A bit more complex, true, but devoid of this pure joy. I regard the parcel again, seeing that the selection is rather odd. I flash my brows as I decide to give it a try. I eat another berry while chewing a slice of ham, and to my surprise, the combination works. The sweet and savory blend in an unexpected delicious way. That wolf sure knows how to please me. I look back towards the bedroom and an involuntary smile creeps on my face as I admire Rannoch's musculature. Even lazily splayed out on the bed, he looks extremely attractive. Wish I was this photogenic. Wait, photo what? Ugh, another of those weird fucking words I somehow understand but have no context for. If this continues much longer, I'm going to go insane. There goes my appetite. I just sit there looking out the window with slight worry. I might be finding my bearing among these wolves, but I'm as much in the weeds with regards as to who I am as I was the day I woke up. I'm just starved for answers, and I'm sure this is the reason why I push for additional information whenever I can. I need to keep an eye on this. I don't feel like pressing Rannoch for unnecessary details, especially if he doesn't feel like divulging just yet. So far, trusting him worked just fine. Realizing I won't be able to eat anymore, I simply walk to the cupboard and wash off my hands. I guess I should rest a bit as well. My body is aching all over from sleeping rough. As I return to the bed, I can see that Rannoch is already fast asleep, snoring slightly as his massive chest expands and falls down in a slow rhythm. His muscles burrowed into the pillows and slightly opened, allowing his saliva to dribble out. I smile, knowing all too well how this wolf drools in his sleep. I'm glad it's the pillows that will now soak up all that spit. You're so cute for someone so big. I mutter, fighting the urge to just rub his belly, but he is too darn adorable not to. My hand reaches towards his breast and I hesitate for a moment. That's when a lazy stretch tenses up his body as the wolf readjusts himself slightly, and I cannot help myself anymore. I let my hand sink into the lush coat of his chest, ruffling it gently. My fingers slide beneath the moonstone for the first time, feeling its surface. It's polished and heavier than I expected. I move it slightly out of the way so I can rub his breasts. His expression adjusts into a soft smile. He's clearly enjoying this even through sleep. I move my hand gently towards the abdomen, trying not to stir him from his slumber. I ruffle his coat around the navel, drawing another idle stretch from the wolf. I chuckle quietly. He's so fluffy, I'm gonna die. My fingers brush across his entire belly, his coat soft and inviting. But even now, I can clearly feel defined muscles beneath all that fur. He really didn't have an idle moment in his life. I press slightly harder as to give his abs a slight workout. He groans softly and I instantly... God damn it! He groans softly and I instantly blush, noticing his crotch tense up. I'm no longer sure which one of us gets more out of this little stimulation. I allow myself a few more moments, but as I notice, I decide to stop. I exhale heavily, trying to release the pent-up tension. This got slightly awkward. I rub my hands uncomfortably, trying to figure out what to do. For a moment, I consider returning to the floor, but then I remember his own words. Rannoch wouldn't be happy if he found me like that again. I look back at him, still sleeping in perfect bliss. He looks so peaceful that I decide to simply lay beside him, although keeping appropriate distance. He made it clear he's not interested, so I'll respect our personal spaces. Last thing I want is another awkward accident. I know his tendency to roll over, so I simply take one spare blanket and furl it up to create some sort of divide between us. I lay there for a moment, feeling most of my body ache. Sleeping on the floor was not good for me, so the soft bed accompanied by his rhythmic breathing quickly puts me to sleep. But we don't get to sleep long as Rannoch gets up after just a few hours. We're going to leave off here tonight. I'm probably going to hop off and then immediately hop back on to make a TikTok on here, so I'll see you extremely soon, like in maybe like 5 or 10 minutes, so stay safe, have a good night, and I'll either see you tomorrow or in a few moments.